before I did my first movie, I went to the Sundance Institute. You're there for a few weeks, and then each week, new directors or actors or writers that are professionals come in, and they kind of mentor you. You know, they assign you a couple that deal in particularly with your script and what you're doing, and then everybody watches your stuff, and they give you notes on it. And one of the people that they assigned me, I was very lucky, was Terry Gilliam. And especially at this time, this is like 91, and that was really Terry Gilliam at the height of his like visionary reputation, and he really liked the script for Reservoir Dogs. He thought it was really cool. So he was really invigorated with the idea of helping me on the project. Look, I have all these. I had never made a movie before. I have all these like cool visuals in my mind. I think I can make a great movie, but it's all theory until you do it. And I asked him. I go, well, look, your movies all have a very specific. You have a vision. Your movies, you have a vision, and that specific vision is in each of your movies. How do you do that? How do you capture that vision? I know I have a vision in my head. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to capture it. How do you capture that? And then he goes, and literally gave me some of the best advice I'd ever gotten. He took something that I was turning into a shamanistic, mystical, conjuring up experience and made it practical. He said, well, Quentin, you don't really have to conjure up your vision. What you have to do is you just have to know what your vision is. And then you have to hire really talented people. And it's their job to create your vision. It's their job. You don't need to know how to grab the light stands and create this kind of lighting effect. You don't need to know how this fabric goes with that wall or anything. You just need to understand your vision, and you need to articulate it. If you hire the right costume designer, you hire the right production designer, you hire the right cinematographer, the props, everything like that. You hire the right people who get what you're trying to do, and then you just explain it to them. If you can articulate your vision and they're talented, they will give you your vision. And all of a sudden, that just made what I was scared about and seemed like a mystical enterprise became very practical. I know I can articulate it. I can describe exactly what I want. And then it just, all those fears and worries that I'd had leading up till that time just kind of went away. Because I knew I could do that. I knew what it was. I knew what it looked like. That's hence the vision. I knew what it looked like, and I knew I could describe it.
Around this time that you mentored Quentin Tarantino at Sundance.
It must have. Okay. Yeah, probably. You're right. It was, because you go to the Sundance Institute, not the festival, and what they do, they always have some pros and then some amateurs, and you put them together, and it's a very good and interesting thing. Quentin happened to be there for 2 weeks. Oh, he was with one group of pros and then another group, which I was in the second group. The first group, he had this script for Reservoir Dogs, and Quentin, being Quentin, he's got all this energy and he's extraordinary. And the earlier group just didn't get him. They didn't like the script. They gave him a very hard time, and he was in a very depressed state when we came on. My group was myself, Volker Schlondorf, great German director who had directed Tin Drum, really wonderful film, and Stanley Donen, who had done Singing in the Rain, Funny Face, all the great musicals, the great romantic musicals of in particularly the 40s and 50s. So that was our little group, and we all read Quentin's script, and the other two didn't really quite get it, but I said, this is fantastic. This is extraordinary stuff. And we looked he had already shot a couple scenes, which luckily he reshot for the film. But there's a guy with his energy, his intelligence, his passion, and his ability to write, just extraordinary. I thought, he's extraordinary. And so we became good friends. I said, it's wonderful. And apparently he says that this made a huge difference to him. And which is great, because I ended up with a special thanks on Reservoir Dogs, so I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And have you followed his career? Have you watched
How
his
can you
movies?
not follow Quentin's career? Quentin is an unstoppable force. He's brilliant. I remember when he sent me the Django script, and I read it. It was a 5-hour movie. I mean, this is madness. But every page, you bastard, you're so brilliant. I'm so envious of his abilities, and the fact that he managed to compress it down to a reasonable length movie is again quite extraordinary. Quentin is very special. What he does is take all the worlds that we know, all the movies we've seen, all the stuff we're very familiar with, and then he twists it around and turns it into something surprising all the time. And that's an incredible ability to play with, and he still makes it like a movie, but it's a different movie. I mean, I don't have those skills, so I think it's wonderful what he does. I mean, I can criticize his stuff. I can say Django should have ended when Christoph dies. That's the end of the movie. You want one big shootout after that, and you want to go home. But he stuck to the story he was trying to tell, which is a love story. He was just telling the wrong love story. The love story is between Django and Christoph's character. It's a buddy movie. But besides that, it's easy to tear things apart. That's the thing that, especially everybody does it now with their tweeting. They're tweeting before they finish the song, or even the movies halfway through it, and they'll be tweeting about what they think about it. Shut the fuck up.